Yo! Welcome into the Bare Necessities podcast. Backed by popular demand, we have Jack Lomax joining the program. How are you, my friend?
Tired of waiting for the beginning of the season to start. I know preseason's here, but my guy, I'm hyped. And we're ready to go.
We're giving our reaction from last night's episode of Hard Knocks training camp with the Chicago Bears. A little bit of a delay, a little bit of a tape delay. And I was joking with Ashley here. I was just like, HBO pissed off the wrong fan base. They pissed off the wrong fans. You know, like the episode's supposed to air at 8 o'clock Central sharp, whether you're watching it live on cable, live HBO, like through your cable provider, or streaming it on the HBO app, on the Max app. And it wasn't there at 8 o'clock, and like all hell was breaking loose on Twitter. People were like, where's the episode? We want to watch the Bears. Man, like my buddies in New York who I do another podcast with, who aren't even Bears fans, were like, why isn't the episode up? I want to watch Hard Knocks. Like, what's going on? So we're gonna talk a little Hard Knocks from last night. But first, Jack, we have plenty to talk about regarding Caleb Williams' preseason debut from this past Saturday out in Buffalo. Only 2 drives, such a tease. This is what preseason does. You know, like we want to see the starting offense. We want to see, you know, all these new additions. But overall, what was your takeaway from Caleb Williams and his first time dressing up in full uniform?
Second coming of Jesus. Yeah. No, there's this at this point. Like, I've seen a bunch of people say this, you know, we thought we had it with Trubisky, and then that didn't turn out well. We thought we had it with Justin Fields, and I still love Justin Fields. I can't speak bad about him. But then you compare him to Caleb, and it's night and day. It's the talent level is there. It's the ability to read the defense. It's just everything about his game is phenomenal. Yes, it was 2 drives. Yes, it was preseason, but it was preseason against the AFC. They went to the AFC Championship, right? The Bills last year against their first.
No, they've lost in the division round a couple of times, but the Bills are always in contention. They had the majority of their starting defense out there on Saturday. It's not like Caleb was going against the second stringers or third stringers out there.
Yeah, like the third stringers of the Oakland Raiders.
Right.
You know, we'll dive into that. But yeah,
the Vegas Raiders.
Oh yeah, can't even get the names right. That's how long it's been. It's how long it's been without football. I forget people's names. Oakland. We're going to call them Oakland. They wanted to be known as Oakland.
We're all out of sorts here. That's okay. Yeah. It's been a minute. Again, he's Jack Lomax. I'm John Presnowski. Thanks for hanging out, guys. The bootlegs, the misdirections, the rollout. Just buttery smooth.
Incredible.
You know, I know it's only 2 drives. I know it was preseason, but it truly looked like to me he's done it before.
Brilliant.
And most rookie quarterbacks takes them a second to read an NFL defense, takes them a second to adjust to the speed of, you know, live NFL action, not practicing, you know, in shells at Lake Forest at Hallis Hall, you know, going up against a live defense that's ready to come and knock your block off. And he looked great, man. He honestly looked great. I don't know what was more impressive, the little dump off, the Mahomes-esque just tossing it out to Swift and letting Swift, you know, do what he does best.
Yeah.
You know, or, you know, that rollout where he pump faked and then he just delivered a dime on the run across his body to Cole Kmet, heading out of bounds. It was impressive. It was such a tease. He even gave us a little 13-yard scramble. It was awesome. How does it feel to be a fan of this team right now? Like, how real is this hype? We still have a little bit to go until September 8th, but like, how does it feel right now?
You can not get excited about the Chicago Bears right now. Even if you're, as a fan, 110%. 110%. NFC North, they're nervous. I've got a lot of friends messaging me, talking about, they're trying to bring me down with Caleb. Can't do it. The hype is there. The excitement is there. Trying to bring me down with the Chicago Bears. It's still the Bears. They'll still manage to screw it up somewhere. No, absolutely not. The hype is absolutely real. You've got people outside the NFC North that are excited. Like you said, you got your friend from New York wanting to messaging like, what's going on with the Hard Knocks. We want to see the Bears. People want to see it. I genuinely think, and I've said this before, if we don't, it's not even if we don't make the playoffs. If we don't have a deep run in the playoffs, I'll be disappointed. That's how hyped I am with this.
I sent you a text the other day. The last time the Bears won a preseason game by more than 20 points was 2006, and we all know what happened in 2006. They reached the Super Bowl against the Colts. Not getting ahead of ourselves. Yep. The most impressive thing to me on Saturday, and I know it was just a preseason game, the Bears didn't allow a touchdown. They finished the game 33-6 against Buffalo. I don't care if it's second or third stringers. When you have a defense playing lights out, the whole roster was playing hard, and they were playing to win. That was the most impressive thing to me about Saturday. It was 6-3 going into halftime, and then they scored 27 unanswered in the second half. Touchdowns by Velus Jones and 2 by Ian Wheeler. Maybe future Hard Knocks star. We saw a little bit of both of them last night. We're going to get to Hard Knocks in just a second here. What was the most impressive thing to you about the game the other day?
I think you kind of hit it on the head there. Like, obviously, the first stringers who you want to see performing, 6-3 against an AFC deep contender. I'll take it. But, you don't win games from just your first stringers. Injuries happen. So be seeing that the depth is able to perform as well. It feels good. It feels good knowing, whoever DeAndre Swift, if DeAndre Swift goes down, we have talent behind him. We have options behind him. We have options when he has to come off the field. I've always been nervous about the depth on our defensive line. Our defensive line looked good. I was actually surprised. Austin Booker, we'll talk about him later on, but he was a shining star.
Why don't we just talk about Austin Booker right now, since we're on the game subject as we're talking here? I don't know about you, and maybe it's because Austin Booker is showing flashes, with the second team, with the third team. Is this dude legit? 2.5 sacks from the other day. He also recorded a sack, I believe, in the first preseason game, in the Hall of Fame game. I mean, is this dude legit? When I was at training camp last week in person, I mean, you see it on TV, but seeing him in person, the length and just how the guy runs it with such a high motor, really, really impressive. And in the third, fourth quarter, I mean, he was all over the field the other day.
Right. When we drafted him, the comparison was a diamond in the rough compared to Max Crosby. I think it was someone like that. And you can see it, like his intensity when he's going into the tackles. Yes, I will sound like a hypocrite at some point in this podcast, like talking about second and third stringers. But he was the way he dominated against second and third stringers. I want to see him, against first stringers next week. I want to see what he can do against actual starters. But he just made it look easy. He was so comfortable, so fluid. And for a guy that big, I want to see more of him on Hard Knocks. I need a spotlight on that guy.
Yeah, definitely. So the Bears start joint practices tomorrow with the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow and company are coming to town to practice, and they play the Bengals on Saturday at Soldier Field. Kickoff is at noon. Yep. How do you feel about joint practices? Do you like the joint practices? How do you feel about?
I do.
Yeah. Okay.
I do. Just because. I mean, a couple of factors. You've got an offense versus defense on the same team. I'm gonna, again, sound very biased, but Chicago Bears defense looks absolutely lights out, phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. But I want to see them against another team in joint practice. One-on-ones, all them drills, whatever. I think that's beneficial. I think the competition makes it a little bit more, game-like, and makes it more surreal, or makes it more real. And then again, seeing Caleb and that offense going against a fairly decent defense in Cincinnati, but going against a different defense that they've not been going against in practice for the last X amount of weeks. I think we'll iron out more kinks in the offense and the defense, going against in a joint practice as opposed to going against the same people over and over again and learning their nuances and all that stuff, right? So I think I love it. And I like seeing the scraps. It makes great entertainment for me.
Well, I was going to say it's going to be interesting for both sides of the ball, the offense and the defense, to go up against a different unit in practice. All indications from camp the last couple of weeks have, the defense usually has been winning the days. They understand like what plays are coming on offense. They know the cadence. They know the ticks. Like will Cincinnati necessarily know
exactly
all the ins and outs of Caleb Williams and the Bears offense?
That's exactly
Probably not.
Great take.
What and we were just talking about a little bit before we came on the air here. What's really refreshing and good to know, Brad Biggs, who's the Bears beat reporter for the Tribune, Nate Davis was a full participant in practice today, and that guy's been robbing the Bears blind with not being available, not practicing. Guy's making close to $11 million this year, if I'm not mistaken. So he needs to be out there. Montez Sweat, Tyreek Stevenson, Kyler Gordon all participate a little bit in team activities. So this is good momentum. It seems like the team is heading in the right direction health-wise. So that's good. But speaking of health-wise, Joe Burrow coming to town. I mean, do you expect Cincinnati to be playing their starters a decent amount? I'm seeing some reports saying that Cincinnati might not be playing a lot of their starters well into the first quarter. So, like, are we going to see another really short performance out of Caleb Williams in the offense? Do you want to see the Bears play Caleb for like a full quarter into halftime? Like, this is what's weird because we had the Hall of Fame game. The Bears get an extra preseason game. So do the Bears dictate what Cincinnati's doing with their starters? And that's how we should dictate what we do with our guys. Like, how do you feel comfortable about that?
I still want to see Caleb. Selfishly, I want to see Caleb. I want to see more game tape. Yeah, yes, exactly. It makes great TV, and it's hype. You just want to see your star guy out on the field. But I think you bring up a great point. We're getting healthy again. We're getting them guys back. Nate Davis, the absolute fraud. Need him to step up. Tired of that guy. I know he's had health issues and he's had mental health issues or X, Y, and Z. But at the end of the day, you got to step up. You've got an $11 million contract right now, and I want to see him on the field. Yes, it's preseason. Get on the field and show us that you can actually protect our star QB. And if not, get rid. Ryan Pauls has always been someone that's done that. I'm not really worried about what Cincinnati's doing. Joe Burrow, aka Slim Shader, if you've seen his new hairpiece. Like if he's not having a significant amount of game time, don't give a crap. Our defense looks phenomenal. I'd like to see Austin Booker go against him and see some of those fringe players take a step up in the first with the first stringers, but our first stringers look phenomenal. I do want to see Caleb, and I still want to see the offense. They've had too many kinks, up and down days with practice, so I do want to see them get some more game time and get some more team chemistry.
It's really only going to make them better the more reps they get. I know that's more the Bears meatball fan in me saying that. But yeah, I mean, I want to see more than 2 drives. I don't need to necessarily see Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze, DJ Moore, Keenan, all those guys, Swift out there till halftime. But can we get a quarter out of them? Maybe a full quarter, please, and thank you. That would be great.
And I want to see them. We get injuries. Keenan Allen, great player, but he's got biscuit knees. Knees like a Nature Valley bar. It terrifies me. And if he goes down, who's the next man up? And who is going to, essentially add to that team? I want to see Scott. I want to see if Velas Jones Jr., our boy, our Lord and Savior, if he can step in and actually, take some reps at that wide receiver role as opposed to this hybrid role that he's in right now. I mean, we've got some other wide receivers that are kind of on the fringe. DeAndre Carter, who got blindsided by that absolute.
Yeah, that was kind of a bullshit play. Yeah, wasn't a fan of that.
That guy needs
the ball wasn't even, the ball wasn't even catchable for DeAndre Carter to. I mean, that was just a little unnecessary in my opinion.
Williamson, put a bounty on him. NFL. I know we don't do that, but yeah. But I want to see some second stringers get some reps in real game time decisions against with Caleb, because there is always the opportunity that someone can go down. Yes, you want to just assume that the first stringers are going to run out the entire season, but you're a squad for a reason. You got 53 on a squad for a reason, because shit happens, and let's get them guys some valuable reps too.
Absolutely. Let's give our reactions to the episode from last night, episode 2, Training Camp Hard Knocks with the Chicago Bears.
Yes.
Debuted last night. Didn't debut, but it premiered on HBO last night. Wanted to give my take on that. I'm not going to lie. It definitely was a little bit of a fluff episode.
Mm-hmm.
The buildup was massive. Everybody, again, was freaking out that it didn't air right away at 8 o'clock. And the Sports on HBO Max account had to literally send a press release out saying, like, something happened. Relax. We'll have it up soon. They pissed off the wrong fan base, Jack.
Pissed off the wrong fan base.
We want our Bears content. We want it now. We're gonna storm HBO's headquarters and demand restitution. No,
I started getting dressed, and I was about to storm. The
I would have joined
about to be stormed. Yeah,
I would have joined you. Absolutely. Overall thoughts. Again, I thought it was kind of more of a fluff episode.
Yep.
We really didn't get to see much. Not really until they showed footage from the game in Buffalo on Saturday. What were your thoughts? Like, what did you have a favorite moment? Or
I mean, right off the bat, I kind of had the feeling it was going to be a fluff episode when they were trying to do that. Yes, Chicago is the home of the Blues, but they did that whole montage of that Blues guy getting set up and starting.
I was ready for that to be over too. Yeah,
and it was just, I'm like, all right, come on, we want to see the meat and veg of this. We don't want to see some guy playing and stupid things that we've seen all over, social media. Anyway, this is fluff. This is fluff. I liked in fact, I'll start with my dislike. My main dislike was the ice cream thing. I love seeing DJ and his family. They are great people. We saw them at the draft party, and they are phenomenal family. I did not need to see DJ Moore eating an ice cream hot dog with relish and mustard on it. Absolutely not. Don't want to see that, cack. It was disgusting. I was just, no, not a chance. Couldn't do it. Don't need that on my Hard Knocks. What I want to see on Hard Knocks is football content and material of that nature. But I didn't need to see that stuff with DJ. Yes,
I get it. Well, I mean, his daughter is adorable. She's hilarious. But yeah, and Hard Knocks has done that in the past. Like, you follow players and their families around, and you get to see them be actual human beings and go out and about and live and like an everyday life.
Disgusting though. Just didn't need to see it.
Yeah. Well, I was confused too. I'm like, is that really a hot dog or is that just ice cream? Like what is going on here? Obviously my favorite moment from last night, Theo Benedict, he still lives, the Canadian Eagle.
Yes,
he
sir.
Still lives. 4-year-old women are checking out his legs.
That was hilarious.
He's getting shout outs on the street. So that was great. Just my personal opinion. We still have, 3 more episodes to go.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know about you. I truly believe, and I'm sure we'll never fully find out. But I think that Ryan Poles, Kevin Warren, and George McCaskey, they have to have some say with the HBO production crew about what makes the show or not. Because I don't know if you watch the Hard Knocks offseason with the New York Giants. It's either New York Giants, it's either like they didn't care what was being shown, or they really didn't have much control over what went into every episode, because they showed a lot, in my opinion.
Yes, they did. Yes,
and the first 2 episodes with Training Camp Hard Knocks with the Chicago Bears, we really haven't seen anything controversial or anything just that maybe they don't want typical NFL fans to see.
Almost too family friendly. I just
want to know your thought on that.
Yeah, too family friendly. Like when a highlight is Austin Reed and Cole Kmet talking about Love Island.
God,
that is. I mean, that kind of speaks. I want to see. I want to see the hard conversations. I want to see the good football content. Do you know what was good football content? Keenan Allen and Jalen Johnson. That little piece where they were talking the one-on-ones, I thought that was good. Absolutely phenomenal.
That was good.
I have a friend that's actually messaging me, just literally just before this podcast. He's talking about, are you a bit worried that your wide receiver one is getting locked down by your cornerback one? Like, no, I'm actually elated by it. That means Jalen Johnson is going to be an absolute stud this year. Yes,
they're only making each other better. They go against each other every day in practice. That's only going to add to their play on the field on the weekends. I mean, I don't know about you, but that's how I feel about it. It's only adding competition.
Yes.
So
it's going to click, and Keenan and Caleb are going to click. They are going to be fine. I just think it's Jalen Johnson. I would like that's something. Let's roll it back to talking about our game against Cincinnati this week. I would like to see more connection between Keenan Allen and Caleb. I want to see a couple of completed passes. I want to see some deep routes. I want to see something that's telling me Keenan is going to be here at the Chicago Bears for a long time, as opposed to a 1-year deal.
Right there with you, my friend. Who's a bigger long shot to make the roster? Is it Velus Jones or is it Ian Wheeler? Both guys scored this past weekend in Buffalo. You saw a little bit of the training camp battle on last night's episode. We all know the Velus Jones experiment has not gone well. He muffed the kickoff return the other day. Does not have the best hands. Now it's working with the halfbacks and in that running back room. The guy has speed. You cannot teach speed. I put out a social media post. Can you name me, Jack, a faster guy on the roster than Velus Jones? I honestly can't. But this really is his last chance. Ian Wheeler, the chances that he did get on Saturday, he looked great. One of those guys is going to make the roster.
If we're going to talk finances, right? I think both of them have pros and cons. Watching Hard Knocks, Ian Wheeler, like I say, this is his day one. Brand new rookie. I didn't like seeing the clips of him dropping balls.
He looked a little lazy in practice in some of those clips.
Yeah.
Looked like he wanted to be elsewhere.
Yeah, but and Velus he realizes, this is it. You're on the outside looking in. Finances.
Yeah.
He's probably getting a bit of a better contract right now than Wheeler, but that's pennies on the dollar in comparison to the other contracts. Ian Wheeler's got wheels. I know the running back coach. Forgive me, you've got his name,
Chad Morton.
Yes, sir. I know he called him Eeyore. I hated that nickname for that guy. Like, it was just an absolute outrageous attack. Such a strange attack. But you're right. I mean, he's sort of droopy face. So that's all it was.
Yeah.
That was. But I think Ian Wheeler. I think he's got the better shot. I think Velus is on the outside looking in. He keeps on muffing punts and muffing catches and slipping, and I think he's got a huge upside. But I prefer Wheeler. I just do. He showed, with his minimal game time that he had, he showed a lot of promise, and I think he's probably up there with speed with Jones Jr. But
Ian Wheeler had 5 carries for 43 yards, 2 touchdowns on Saturday. So
there we go. And I mean, going back to the running back coach, we talk about highlights of Hard Knocks. That guy was outstanding.
Chad Morton came over with Shane Waldron from Seattle. He's very vocal, which I did like.
Animated, yeah.
So I phrased that incorrectly, and I want to go back. I apologize. The two biggest long shots specifically, I wasn't trying to compare Velus Jones and Ian Wheeler. I was actually trying to compare Austin Reed, the fourth quarterback on this roster, Austin Reed and Ian Wheeler. You saw a little bit of Austin Reed and his parents like watching nervously and frantically from Buffalo the other day, watching their son play in NFL live action.
Right.
Is there any chance that Austin Reed, undrafted rookie from Western Kentucky, makes the roster as a third quarterback? Over Brett Rippon, who's actually played in the NFL before. Like, I don't necessarily see it. I don't see either guy making the roster. Maybe practice squad.
Right.
What do you say?
I don't think. I think Austin's on the outside looking in.
Yep.
Brett's got that relationship with Shane, I think he's got a relationship with Shane Waldron already, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So he knows that scheme. He knows, what's going on there. I honestly, if I'm going to be, completely honest, I actually think
you're being so honest today.
I'm so honest. It's honestly so honest. It's so Brett. I think Brett's going to leapfrog Bajent. I think he's going to be the number two. I do.
Wow.
I have not been impressed with Bajent this preseason. I think he was the benefit of, an easy scheme last year when Justin Fields went out. I wasn't impressed with his gameplay last year. I am not impressed with it this year. I think he's a great guy, phenomenal guy. Yeah. He's a locker room guy, and his dad's hilarious. Yeah. But, if Caleb goes down, I want the guy that steps in that knows the offense. And the guy that knows the offense is Brett Ripon?
Ripon, I believe is how you pronounce it.
Weird spelling name. But, so I think Tyson Bajent becomes practice squad. I think it's practice squad. Austin Reed hasn't got a chance. Sorry, you're a great guy and your parents seem amazing, but you are on borrowed time, my friend. Enjoy your time as a preseason wonder boy.
We definitely have a small sample size out of Bajent. He's had less than 10 throws, 10 attempts in both games, the Hall of Fame game and on Saturday. I'm sure we're going to see a little bit more of Tyson on Saturday.
Have to.
So before we cap off the show, again, Jack Lomax joining me, Bare Necessities podcast. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I want to get to some news around the league. There's a lot going on around the league. Let's start in the NFC North.
Yes.
Bad news out of Minnesota.
Oh, so bad.
Surrounding J.J. McCarthy, knee injury. Not sounding good from the likes of it, Jack. If you're J.J. McCarthy, do you, just go in and scope that knee, or do you get it fully repaired and, redshirt basically your rookie year in Minnesota?
I mean, so it's what, a torn meniscus or some, and it said the timeline is 4 to 6 weeks. But then obviously you still need to come in, and he's a rookie. There isn't a rush on this. They've already made the decision that Sam Darnold's coming in as starting QB and JJ's learning behind. They're kind of following that model, that Green Bay have done, and obviously Atlanta are trying to do right now. I would take my time. That being said, I don't really care. JJ McCarthy, he's a fluke, and this is where I said earlier in the show, I'm going to sound hypocritical. He was going against second and third stringers when he was throwing his dimes. I think outside of that, he were crap. When he was going against first stringers against the Vegas Raiders, see, I've learned, I'm ready.
Way to go.
He looked bang average. He threw an interception on his third attempt. No. Yes, he did good against the second and third stringers, but we need to see that kind of quality against quality opponents. And it's the Vegas Raiders. The first stringers are crap anyway, apart from Devontae Adams. Who's there?
I was going to say McCarthy's stat line against the Raiders is pretty good, but again, a small sample size going against, backups.
Yes.
Out there in Vegas. So
JJ McCarthy, take your time.
Honestly, what this reads to me, and I'm not trying to get ahead of myself, there's no way we're going to finish last in division this year.
Not
Minnesota is going through a transition phase, figuring out their identity.
Yep.
There's no way we finish last in the division this year.
Pin it.
I'm going to knock on wood.
I'm going to pin it right now. They are finishing top 3.
There's just no way. What are your thoughts on Justin Fields' debut with the Pittsburgh Steelers? A little bit of fumble trouble.
I can't comment on this because Justin Fields is my man. He's the guy. He's the hero amongst men.
So it was more the center and less Justin. It was more the center.
I've got that mindset. I have that mindset because I can't speak ill of our former hero. But at the end of the day, this guy's trying to take Russell Wilson's position. That's not helping his case. I want him to be phenomenal, not only because I'm a big Justin Fields fan, but I want that pick to be, higher. We turn into a 4th round, right?
Yes. He plays over 50% of the snaps. I believe the pick that comes back to the Bears turns into a 4th round pick.
So stop dropping the fucking ball, Justin, and carry it like we've seen. Yes, you're in a different team, but it is not that difficult to keep the ball in your bloody hands. That's your job. I think he's got massive hands as well. I don't even know how he's dropping the ball.
We're both in agreement on Sundays, like me and you, like our second favorite team. Like we're going to be glued to the TV to watch the Steelers games.
100%.
Like, me and you are both Steelers fans, 100% this year. Right?
Financially and emotionally, we are invested into the Pittsburgh Steelers. I may go onto my favorite foreign website and buy a very not authenticated Justin Fields Pittsburgh Steelers jersey because I need a team to root for on our bye week. So, and Justin, like I said, I'm a big Justin Fields guy. I think he's got to really step it up this week in preseason 2 to make sure that he's not fumbling behind Russell Wilson. But it's also Russell Wilson. He's an absolute clown. He's going to screw up something. I don't know how he's going to screw up, but he'll end up, I don't know, he'll end up maiming someone in the crowd or something. Either way, we just want Justin Fields on that field. I think he's going to be fine.
What's your take on all this Brandon Ayuk news? I mean, are we like just doing this crazy news cycle of figuring out where he's going to land only for him to, eventually just stay with the 49ers? Like, where would you like to see Brandon Ayuk, where would you like to see him play this upcoming year?
AFC. Keep that
Steelers
out of the NFC. Do you
Steelers,
know what? He should.
Browns, Patriots.
Patriots isn't going to happen. I think they've all out and out said they don't want to get rid of him. We're going to keep him, or take him rather. Browns, I don't think are going to do it. I think that'd be a fantastic landing spot for him. But no, I think the Steelers have that spot. If you've got Ayuk and Pickens, Jesus, do you want Justin Fields throwing to him, or do you want Russell Wilson throwing to him?
That's a pretty good duo.
Yeah.
For selfish reasons, I hope Ayuk stays in San Francisco. I think he plays that wide receiver 2 slot receiver role like so well.
Yep.
And it has helped me win back-to-back fantasy football championships. So Ayuk, please stay exactly where you are, sir. Please and thank you.
Yeah.
And then lastly, before we wrap up the show here, I don't know if you saw on Twitter yesterday, Matt Eberflus, head coach of the Bears. I'm not sure if he's like leaking something. People are maybe looking a little bit too far into this, but Eberflus was being interviewed during a segment on NFL Network, and he pretty much came out and it seemed like he alluded to that Ryan Poles is looking to add an addition to the defensive line opposite of Montez Sweat.
I did not see this.
And it's kind of like in the moment he caught himself saying like, oh yeah, like we're actively looking to add someone opposite of Sweat. There's 2 names out there that are hot names, and I wanted to get your take on who would you like more in a Bears uniform, and would it make sense to have either of these guys opposite of Montez Sweat, Matthew Judon or Hassan Reddick?
This is a hot take because I haven't seen any of this. I know the free agency, the trading stuff and requesting trades, but I have not seen our boy Eberflus talking about it.
I'll send you the clip after this. I'll send you the clip after this. It's kind of like Eberflus slipped up, and maybe people are reading too much into this. Maybe I'm reading too much into this. And most NFL GMs are always looking to improve the roster,
right?
And clearly, there's a hole opposite of Montez Sweat. DeMarcus Walker's a good player, but we need more than his production out there.
Reddick.
You want Reddick, okay?
Yeah, I think
Hassan Reddick was traded in the offseason from the Eagles to the Jets, and the Jets shouldn't have traded for Hassan Reddick, knowing he wanted a new contract.
Yeah,
and they can't figure it out. And now,
typical
according
Jets,
to Adam Schefter this week is requesting a trade. I don't think Matthew Judon has officially requested a trade, but he's also looking for a new contract with the New England Patriots.
Right.
Personally, I think I would want Matthew Judon. I think he would cost less. The Bears
financials,
the Bears financially do have the money to add, but you already committed to Montez Sweat.
Yeah,
you are paying DeMarcus Walker a free agent contract. It's not like it's breaking the bank necessarily,
right.
And I don't have those numbers pulled up right in front of me. But I think Judon would be the cheaper player.
Yep.
Hassan Reddick, though, has been more available and more healthy, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
I think Hassan Reddick is the sexier name, but I think Judon is more in play here. So
I think that's very solid logic. I just think Reddick, as far as draft capital, I mean, they got him for a 6th round. Are they going to expect more from us? Like, hey, we've paid a 6th round for him. We want a 4th. What the fuck you think you're getting a 4th? You only paid a 6th for him. And even he's walked on a practice field, shook some hands, pissed the GM off, and walked off. You'll get a 6th, and you'll laugh. You'll be happy. Yeah.
I would not be surprised if Poles adds one more addition, whether that's on the defensive line or maybe the offensive line before the season starts. He's done that. He's done that in the past.
Who's in free agency right now?
Ngakwe still on the streets.
Free agent.
I was reading that the Bears and his agent have been in communication. I don't think they've agreed on a specific number. Obviously, Ngakwe's coming off that ankle injury that ended his season last year. So,
hang on,
we'll see.
Nah, these are all incorrect. I don't know what website.
I thought Emmanuel Ogba was still out there, but he might have signed with the Dolphins or somebody. I know he was another name out there, but I think Hassan Reddick is the sexier, hotter player out there if you're looking for a defensive end, but he's going to demand more money. And it's not necessarily a good look. You just get traded to a team and you already want out and you haven't even practiced with them. And Matthew Judon, is on a team very much in transition, trying to figure out its identity. It makes more sense to bring in a Matthew Judon, in my opinion, than Hassan Reddick.
I'd like to see if I'm just looking at free agents. Did Shaq Lawson retire now?
I'm not sure.
I think he did.
I'm not sure, but I don't think that's necessarily a move that Poles would make because he's more of an older veteran player.
Yeah.
And I feel like Poles, especially on the defensive line, it wants to go young.
Yeah.
Judon, I want to say Judon is older than Reddick, so that's the one thing maybe going against him.
Let's get our boy Reddick. Let's go. Yes, Reddick.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, either guy would be amazing to pair with Sweat. I mean, you're talking dangerous duo with either of those two. So it'll be interesting to see if the Bears are not finished adding in free agency right before the start of the NFL season, September 8th, Jack. I mean, it's almost here. It's almost here.
I would not be surprised if when preseason's ended, we have an idea of our holes, our gaps in our roster, and yeah, I would not be surprised if it pulls the trigger. So it's like, look, okay, we have a roster to compete now. Yeah, let's go on, Ryan Cook. Chef Ryan Pauls, let's go. He's got it. We're going to go with Hassan Reddick. Let's get Reddick in. Our boy Brandon knows full well that Reddick is our boy.
All right, my friend. It's been a really good show. It's been great to have you back on. Great talking Bears with you. Again, September 8th. We're almost there.
Yes, sir.
Almost there. Definitely getting antsy over here. Can't wait to watch more Hard Knocks. Can't wait to watch this upcoming Saturday. Hopefully Caleb and the rest of the offense play a little bit more against the Bengals. I'm sure we're going to get some juicy content for the Hard Knocks episode next week when the Bears welcome the Bengals for joint practices starting tomorrow. Can't wait to talk a little bit more about that next week.
Yeah.
Jack, thanks for coming on, man.
Appreciate it.
We'll catch you guys next time. Peace.